Today, drama means repetitive troping, drama means murder mystery, and drama means capturing the heart of a true fangirl. Hi, welcome to DramaMeans. Today we're talking about the 2025 Korean drama, Idol I.
And first, a summary. When the star of a K-pop idol group is accused of murder, a hard-nosed defense attorney is forced to ask herself a very difficult question. Can she defend him to the best of her abilities, while also keeping her fangirl tendencies under wraps?
So let's start off with saying how...
Where are you going with this?
how Ryan is a fan of Seong.
I mean, such a big fan. Such a big fan that I didn't recognize her. You're like, do you recognize this lead actor? And I'm like, yes. Why? SNSD? Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. I had a feeling that you didn't recognize her because you would have said something.
See, when she's on stage, there's a different presence altogether, but also it was always the hair flipping. A lot of hair flipping in that group.
Uh-huh.
And so that's what I like with her with short hair, just kind of throws me off. Same smile. It's a very pretty smile.
Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, the hair threw me off. But then once I realized who it was, my fangirl tendencies came back.
I'm also a fan of Jae Yeong.
I didn't really know who that was when we started this.
Yeah, he was, we watched that Park Shin-hye,
Judge from Hell.
Judge from Hell.
Yeah, Devil Judge. Judge from Hell, I think.
I don't remember what it's called. We hated it so much we dropped it, but
we didn't finish that?
We did not finish it.
No, we finished it. I remember the ending. It was the whole thing where the devil guy. We finished that. We might have even done an episode about that.
No, we didn't do it. No.
I'll look into the archives. But yeah, no, he played the detective, the cop.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, we did not. Yeah, we did finish it. You're right.
Yeah, neither of us really loved that drama. I thought there was some good parts in it, but overall it was kind of lame, and the rules didn't make any sense after a while. But anyway, here we are with one that was still pretty formulaic K-drama to me. But I did think both of the leads here are pretty engaging.
Yeah, I do like their chemistry. And, I really enjoyed the fangirling part of it. It really pulls at, all the struggles that I've had over the years of trying to get tickets. The thing is, when I first started down the K-pop journey, it was so much easier to get tickets. You just go and buy it.
You may say that you were K-pop before K-pop was cool. And now it's a thing to get concert tickets.
I can't even try anymore. Back in the day, my friends, we all had our devices on, and we would try, and then we'd get into the waiting room, and then we would try to buy tickets, and then we'd have to text each other and be like, hey, what seats are they giving you, and all this stuff. And now I can't even. I don't know if it's I don't have the patience anymore, or it's just, it doesn't work for me. I can never get in anymore.
Well, we should also talk about, we could talk about this whole episode just about ticket resellers and how Ticketmaster is a disaster, and just fans trying to get tickets is such an uphill battle when you're battling, resellers who are trying to buy them and turn them for a profit.
Yeah, well, I've had such a horrible experience with Ticketmaster. I have PTSD. I'm too afraid to buy anything on Ticketmaster, so I kind of don't.
Yeah, it's a mess. We could have a whole episode talking about just that.
Yeah, but even now with the whole William S. and Panpuin fan meeting, also Ticketmaster messed up, and so all the fans were having issues then too. But anyway, with the show, I really, really enjoyed the chemistry, and they had the social commentary with the show, how idols are constantly being stalked and harassed, and the fans just feeling entitled to their private life, to everything, and that the fans have to act completely perfect in every single way, and if they don't, then it's this big ordeal. Actually, just I forgot if it was this morning or last night, some news came out that Korean netizens are all up in arms because they felt San from ATEEZ sweat too much.
Okay.
And so that he deliberately sweats on purpose to attract women.
Because the sweaty masculine man is attractive, and so he just drinks a lot of water and eats a lot of salt or something to make himself sweat extra.
I don't really know.
What if he had secret sweat gland surgery?
Oh, it's just like ridiculous to the point where like, are you serious? Like, he's a human being. Of course he's gonna sweat. He's also like choreography, dance, you know, like they sweat. And yes, he does take off his shirt a lot, but he has the means to take off his shirt a lot.
I would also comment to the fans, if y'all didn't squeal every time he took his shirt off, he'd stop doing it.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with like the sexualization of him, or like him being too masculine and like, oh, he's just using his abs to lure us in.
That is not the issue. The issue is, I'm pretty sure the people complaining are like this incel crowd where they're very upset with this particular man or those idols who, I don't know, are taking their women, their fantasy of women away from them.
Like, okay. I can't even follow that. I do know what you mean, but like, it's such a weird web of delusion that I can't quite follow it. And I think this show does a good job of kind of showing that there are fans, and there are fans that love the groups and support their group members. And then there's layers of toxicity that you can go down these rabbit holes, and you get these crazy fans who are breaking into their favorite, you know, idol's apartment and like literally assaulting them and justifying it, being like, well, I'm your fan, you have to do what I want.
Yeah.
And that's mental illness. Like, being a fangirl isn't mental illness. We're all fans of something. And I think it shows her character, like, she's such a fan. She's the squealing in her apartment, which is a great juxtaposition of her in the courtroom, right? It's a great character introduction.
Yeah.
And she's like, clicking oh my God, I gotta get the tickets. I gotta click. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't get tickets. But then she isn't stalking the group because she didn't get tickets and like, sending threatening letters because they didn't write back to her.
Yeah. So they definitely made that social commentary and like really trying to like make it known, and like hopefully fans out there can realize like how disturbing it is for these idols who have to go through it. Like back in the day, like, you know, getting poisoned in his drink at a fan sign from an anti-fan, or like, you know, even like more recent times of like Ziyu from Revenge Love, and like them being completely harassed and like just chased after at the airport, to the point where now there's been a turn where idols will stand up for themselves, and like there's a big like Ziyu, like he has stood up for himself and like blocked a punch or whatever, and then a very, very popular example is Ling Chao from Wonder, who's a little bit more violent towards his harassers, but it's gone to the point where like if you don't, like, then you're the one that's being violent toward.
But this isn't new, because we're talking about, this really is an extension of old school paparazzi, right? Like before the internet age, paparazzi will go out and harass celebrities for that photo to put into the National Enquirer. We talked about the Lindsay Lohan, the Britney Spears, and Princess Diana. And now that everyone has a camera in their hand 24/7, the fans themselves has turned into the paparazzi.
Yeah.
So like, this is an extension of that. I will say, I think the amount of crazies gets kind of propped up by the internet because they're so loud on the internet. I think the percentage of these people are very small compared to the fan base.
Yeah.
But they're just so loud that it seems like, oh my gosh, all their fans are so crazy. No, a very small, crazy percentage of their fans are crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we have to constantly remind ourselves in the internet age of, hey, half the comments you see online are bots and the other half are crazies. So just like when people are being nuts, it's not everyone being outlandish. It's kind of, a lot of it's fake. a lot of it's super fake.
Yeah. But as for acting goes, I thought they were both amazing. Like, Jae Yeong's, like, acting has so many layers, and his character has so many layers that you really have to peel through, from his, like, his idle exterior to, like, the vulnerability that he has and the anxiety and just this, his mental state was not good, right?
Of course, yeah.
And then, like, and then he goes into, like, just being completely hurt by, like, no one that is on his side. People that he thought would be on his side is not on his side. You know, like, just peeling back every single layer, and he does a really good job acting and doing this character. And then it gets to when he's, like, feeling like he's being healed, and then, like, his cutesiness kind of comes out with Sena.
Mm-hmm.
So I really, really enjoyed him acting in this as this character, and then I thought their chemistry was good.
Yeah, I thought they were both. If there's a highlight to this drama, I think it's the chemistry between the leads, and also I would call it the three-dimensionalness of their characters. I feel like she plays the hard-nosed DA part really well. It's not just her with a stink face. Like, she actually plays that character very much different than the fangirl, and very much different than the emotional kind of romantic lead as well. And so she has a lot of layers as well. And so I really appreciated their performance from both sides. And I think they complemented each other really well. Totally the strength of the series.
So for the murder mystery portion.
You mean the weak part of the series? I set you up for that one.
At first I was like, okay, well, it's gotta be the girl, right? The ex-girlfriend, because there's, like, nobody it could be, right?
Well, let's just start real quick by saying whodunits are very hard.
Okay.
Like, whodunit is a very old form of storytelling. It's been done a million different ways, and it is very difficult, especially in this online forum era where everyone has an opinion. You know, you put 50,000 people in an internet forum, someone's going to get it right. You know, there's only so many iterations of the story, so it's very hard to, like, hide the ball from an audience week to week. Yeah. But I will agree with you. It's kind of like, oh, it's got to be her, right? She's the only mystery character.
Well, the thing is, they brought her out really early, making her menacing and, like, you know, him freaking out the minute he sees her kind of thing. So you're like, it has to be her. And then they give you a misdirect, which, great. Sure. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do, is do a misdirect.
But the misdirect is also almost too obvious. Like, it's like, and the only reason it's a misdirect is you're going, ugh, they're just going to cop out and do that, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, they don't have enough suspects for it to not be one of those two people. Otherwise, there's, like, no one else could have done it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no good suspects is really the most unfortunate part, because, you know, the ex-girlfriend and the CEO are kind of like your stock, like, well, it's got to be one of them, which for me as a storyteller is like, no, it can't be either one of them, because that's just so obvious. Like, it's been done so many times. But then the rest of the characters you haven't set up either as a big enough character or having that turn be really big. Like, oh, it's the assistant. Okay. Like, so what? Oh, you scorned me because I got you that coffee that one time and you threw it in my face. Like, who cares?
That's the thing. They introduced, like, in the beginning that he was, like, so hard to deal with. And there are so many, like, employees and staff and makeup artists that could have been the suspect. But then they never show up again. Yeah. Right? So then you're like, okay, well, it's definitely not any of them because they don't have enough screen time. Then you're like, okay, well, it could be any of the bandmates, right? And then except for they're both so, like, you killed him, right? So it's like, well, if you're so adamant that he's killed and they're so upset about it, right? So you're like, it's not going to be either of the bandmates either.
Yeah.
So then it gets to a point where Ryan and I are sitting here and we're like, we already know it's one of these two. whatever. Let's start making shit.
The maid did it. I was really trying to bend myself in circles to make the maid do it.
I was like, no, I was.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was Sena. This whole time, she's defending him, but she's really the murderer. In a twist that makes no sense.
I'm the one that's like, it has to be the maid, because, like, she comes in and then she's like...
No, I was with you. I'm like, oh, he got drugged, and, like, the maid is the one that brought the drinks and put him in the fridge. You're like, yeah, that's what it is.
Considering she had no reason to, right? And again, she didn't have enough screen time.
No screen time for that to be, like, a viable choice.
Yeah. So we're, like, just messing around, and then Ryan's like, oh, it's Sena. Sena's the one that's the killer.
Even though we literally saw scenes of her, like, finding out that the guy was dead and, like, being shocked, which there is shows that do that, that'll do that cheat, where the character's all by themselves, and they learn something, and they go, oh my god. And then later you're like, you were the murderer. It's like, well, wait a minute. What about that scene where you were by yourself and you said, oh my god? Like, who are you acting for?
Yeah. So anyways, but, like, we clearly did not really think it was the maid or Senna, but it was just us joking around. But it was because there was no good suspects to actually think, And the thing is, whodunits, like, my friends don't want to watch dramas with me anymore, because usually, like, in the first episode, or like a movie, I've probably told this story before, but I went to a movie with my friend, and in the first 3 minutes of the movie, I said, this guy's such a killer, and it ended up being that guy was the killer, right? And she was like, minute 3, Mel. Right? And
but it's because structure, how to set up a villain, you know the rules. Villain. I am a villain. You know how to set up a villain. So, like, it's just kind of, there's tells.
Yeah. Especially how you film something, and it's like, okay, well, of course this person is the bad guy kind of thing. But so no one wants to watch murder mysteries with me ever again.
Well, like I said before, they're very hard to do, and I think now what makes a good whodunit now is hiding the fact that it's a whodunit from the audience. Like, one I will always go back to is Knives Out. Like, Knives Out shows us that the old man slits his throat. And then it's kind of a, oh no, is the nurse going to get caught? Is Ana de Armas' character going to get swept up in this? And what you don't realize you're watching is a whodunit. And I think that this show could have benefited from in episode 3 or 4 being like, oh my god, it's the CEO. And the CEO, like, goes on the run or goes missing, and they're like, the whole show is just about, can we catch the CEO? Can we catch the CEO? And the show isn't a murder mystery. And then they're peeling back the onion, and there's something just not quite right. And then, oh boy, by the way, it's a whodunit. And at least then you're asking a different dramatic question to the audience than the actual question you're going to answer at the end of the series. And then it feels kind of, oh, I was surprised by the ending, rather than here are your cast of suspects, which one did it. That worked maybe 50 years ago in storytelling. It doesn't work super great now.
Yeah. And also, like, as we've said before in previous shows, that we don't really like the twist anymore, because everyone's always looking for a twist nowadays.
Right.
So
this one didn't really have a twist as much as it had a reveal.
It didn't have a twist, but it's all so formulaic, and it's so, honestly, this show is like every single other K-drama, from the type of characters they are, to the whispering public, to the
yes,
to the social commentary on political people.
Like, the judicial system is corrupt and people don't get their fair day in court and that kind of stuff. No, we've seen this all before. I don't think there was anything here. I think the idol fangirl thing was a nice twist on her character, because I don't think I'd seen that before. But like, oh my God, so serious. Oh, I'm going to go wait in line for tickets. And I'm so like fangirly. Like that was a nice, like I said, intro. After that, it was super paint by numbers K-drama. Like,
Yeah. Um, it is so cliche and it's so overdone. And I'm pretty disappointed that, in so I've watched K dramas for so many years, and yes, there has been some changes, but ultimately it's all still the same. And I just really wish that they would try a little harder.
I feel the same way sometimes about our network TV dramas. You know, you have your cop shows, your lawyer shows that are on network TV, and you're going, can you guys like try to rock the boat a little bit? Like, every once in a while you get a House MD, you get something that, 24, but it just feels like for the most part you're getting the same show that they put on the air 25 years ago. So that's how I feel
Like
about
the
K-drama.
shows you just talked about that was from 25 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But those broke the mold of network TV in a way that we don't really see right now. We see some of these, cop shows. You're like, oh, this could be any cop show in the last 30 years, just different characters and just kind of, but it's the same formula. And I think a lot of people are tiring of that, which is why the audiences keep getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah. I kind of hated a lot of the characters, especially your prosecutor. And the thing is, his character is so coerced and just like, I understand that there's definite corruption in politics in the judicial system. But this character is so stupid, and it just doesn't feel like, he just doesn't even feel like an adversary that like you could even respect.
No, you said very early in the show you were hoping that this was kind of going to be a battle of wits between the two lawyers. Like you have the top defense attorney versus the top prosecutor. They both went to school together. They have a history of being number one and number two. All right, here, let's see a battle of wits. But he is so deballed in every single scene he's in, not only by her, but by his dad, by his boss, by everyone, to the point where even the stuff that dad is being like, you should do this. I'm like, that is the dumbest advice I've ever heard. Like, you're just going to make him look like more of a moron.
Yeah.
You should arrest the wrong guy and just really go all in on arresting the wrong guy.
When you have absolute no evidence.
Yeah, I was like, what? But what is the benefit of that? Like, not saying you're wrong now, but you're going to have to say you're wrong in a year, which is way worse. Like, when you go back and go, wait, so you guys had no evidence and just went hog wild on this case? Maybe you win. Maybe that's a thing that happens. But how were you going to win? Like, I just wanted him to turn to his dad and go, okay, you win this case, asshole. Like, look, there's nothing here.
Yeah. It was definitely not Battle of the Wits.
No.
The thing is, I was almost like, he can't be this stupid, right? Like, he's doing this on purpose to like, because no one really wants to investigate this case. And he knows deep down that, like, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, all this evidence, he's like, yeah, I'm fucking positive, right?
So you thought he was kind of like throwing himself on the sword to kind of uproot the injustice.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't.
He wasn't. So just like his character was so like one-dimensional, and like the end just came like it was so weak and generic, and just from a little speech this whole time he just fucking refused to believe in any kind of evidence, right? And then all of a sudden at the end, because she said a few words to him, he's gonna.
Yeah, it's a little silly and it's a little simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that my biggest gripe with the whole thing, and this to me is a cardinal sin of this type of story. If you really think about it, the way that everything gets wrapped up could have been solved in the first episode of the show if they would have just done their jobs correctly. And what do I mean by that? Well, the cops found an earring on the ground, and they conveniently never bring it up to him, to our lead in interrogation, going, hey, we've got you, man. We've got signs of a struggle. one of your earrings is on the ground. Because if they would have said that to him, he would have been like, no, that's my ex-girlfriend's earring. And that's not my earring. Here's mine. It's right here in my lockbox. So that would have automatically made her a suspect in minute one. And then the other thing of breaking into the homeboy's like cloud and like seeing and hearing the recording of everything that happened that night, that's all they had to do for the whole show. But they don't bring it up until the last episode. Like, oh, there's got to be something on this cloud. Let's try to make all of our efforts to like break this password, and we can do it inside of one episode. Why didn't you do that in episode 1?
Yeah.
This whole show was unnecessary. And then at the end, they were like, actually, all along we had the evidence it was her. And, oh, by the way, it's all recorded.
Yeah.
Show over. If you can end your show in episode 1, you have a bad show.
This is what I'm saying when, like, it drives me nuts because I know that most people only tune into things for the romance, right? Otherwise, you don't watch the show. This isn't someone, like, that wants, like, good detectiving, right? Like, they don't watch the show. It's all about the romance, right? But if you're going to have a romance that takes place, like, these people are lawyers and idols and there's a murder mystery going on, like, at least try to put some effort into it. I know you only concentrate on romance. I get it. But also, can you kind of give some effort to other things too? And they really, it was like paint by numbers. They take like a mold, right? It's paint by numbers, and they're just going to insert this romance into it. And then the other stuff, they are just like, okay, whatever. Like, let me just splash some paint on. It's not.
Well, it's not thought through, and it's not well developed from that standpoint. It's just developed from the point of view of the romantic entanglement.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But that's the thing. They have this story has been done a million times, right? So they just took something that already existed and then put a new, like, the whole thing is like, oh, this lawyer defending her favorite idol.
Yeah.
And that's all they really had.
Yeah.
Everything else they've already, like, they pulled from somewhere else.
Yeah, and like nothing in it is that clever or smart. The way they figure the things out, that's not where they're putting the effort of the show.
Yeah.
And so, like, how much better would the show be if it could stand alone on its own 2 feet as a murder mystery?
Yeah.
And then also stand on its own 2 feet as a romantic show. And then you marry those 2 things together, and now you have something that keeps us on the edge of our seat the entire series.
Yeah.
But instead, I feel like you're right. They prioritize one, and they kind of yada yada the other. And that goes for shows that are super actiony, where they put that first, and then the relationship's kind of like yada yada if you say so.
Like Mobius?
Yeah, like Mobius. Mobius is a great example of a show that I thought had like awesome like momentum as a storytelling device. The romance, what the hell ever, if you say so, that there's
Like,
chemistry.
Yeah.
But then you have this that's coming from the other side where it's all, you know, actor chemistry, character chemistry, and then you literally yada yada whatever the entire backbone of the plot.
Mm-hmm. And it's again with the whole archaic. You know, if you've ever listened to any other episode on the show, I hate the most that people can't understand that men and women can be platonic friends.
Well, this goes all the way back to Harry Met Sally. Harry says that men and women can't be friends. That's just the rule. Sorry, Emily.
It's not the fucking rule. It is fucking archaic and old way of thinking. And I find it so ridiculous that they just like stuff it in there because they're from like day one, their relationship has never been romantic. And even if he really cares.
Wait, but you're talking about her little PI.
Yeah.
The PI relationship to Senna.
Yes, her assistant. I think his character name is Jung.
Right, the one that lives underneath her in her like
the
basement
room.
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find like they didn't even try with it either. Like they didn't try this like actual. Again, it was lazy. It wasn't an actual like crush. It just so like offhanded, like randomly thrown in there. Also, like him having a crush on her, and then like being kind of a pseudo obstacle between like her and like, and it was just like it was so fake. And then like after he gets turned down, it was just so like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they could have accomplished the same thing dramatically, just that he's worried about her falling for her idol. Like that kind of idea of don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's so starry-eyed for him, he's like, hey, don't be starry-eyed for this guy because you now know him in person.
Yeah.
And he could be protective big brother without having to be interested in her. Little brother. But you know what I mean.
Protective friend, you know, confidant, that's totally fine. Like, I understand that. But when he's like, can't you see me? Can't you see me as a man? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
you live in the basement, bro. You live in my basement. No.
I pay you. Like, I'm the one that gives you the salary. But it's like not even that. It's just like it didn't fit in there. And again, it's like, oh, you all of a sudden need this like formula of having some kind of other love interest.
Unrequited love that's like tragic, right?
Yeah. And it's just like, can we move on from this? It's 2026. Can we like finally realize that like you can be platonic friends of the opposite sex and not just like have someone always pining for the other? Like,
no, I totally agree. I think it's overdone. And I also think the idea that all of these characters have this deep-rooted past with each other was a little like Tiny Town. Like her and her little assistant like met over grieving for their parents and like way long ago, and then didn't see each other until he was like a delinquent. And then her and the prosecutor, like he was her high school bully. And then her and the pop star, like he was the guy that like made her feel better and, you know, gave her the hat and convinced her not to like jump in the river. Like they all have this like deep rooted history that is so overly cute and like coincidental and just kind of like why? I don't think everybody has to know each other from childhood, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where they are, but they're still in the same like the town that they used to live in too.
But it's not that small of a town either, because like judging by like their public buildings and they're like the atmosphere where they live, they're not in a 600 person town. Like they're in a city. So it's weird that I think a lot of times these shows want all these characters to have this like deep, oh, he was also a high school bully, so it's come back to roost. I'm like, sure, do that once. Do that with one character. But not every character has to be tied together since they were in elementary school.
I agree. I also am kind of sick of seeing that too, when like, you know, it's done every single time where it's like, oh, this person, we used to know each other back in like when we were 10, or, you know, and you were the one that saved me all the way back then. And it's just gotten to the point, and even if like you don't see it at first, and then I don't know, the end, like last episode, you reveal that it's like, oh, it was, you know, they brushed against each other when they were 5 or whatever, right? Yeah. It's like
I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to give characters motivations. Like, you know, the biggest question as writers, a lot of times we ask, well, why does this character behave this way? Why is this character this way? Why is she such a fan of this particular idol group and this particular idol? Oh, it goes back very, very deep. Not everything has to go back that deep. Yeah. Like, we find inspiration in the reasons we do things at all stages in life. Not everything comes back to our quote-unquote formative years. And I think sometimes writers just go, oh, well, in high school, they were high school sweethearts, and they broke up and didn't see each other for years. No, they could have just met before. They could have just seen each other on the subway when they were working professionals. Like, not everything has to start there.
Yeah. I totally agree. And it's another way of like, I feel like they try to coerce fate and destiny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they are always trying to, it is all part of where do we come from and what is our purpose and why are we doing this? So I get it, but it's just so overused. And again, in this show, it's used like it's like fate three ways. It's like on the plate at a Michelin star restaurant. You're like, okay, this is a little too much fate for me.
Yeah. This drama felt pretty lazy.
I mean, yeah, overall, plotting, romance-wise, I mean, like I said, formulaic, or like you said, very formulaic. And just kind of like, well, we have a new in, and then let's just take everything and cannibalize it and then put it in a blender and it's a K-pop drama.
Yeah. And also, I'm not sure if it was seen in something even previous to what I'm about to say, but the scene where Raik, like, you know, is playing the guitar like by the river and like gives her his hat and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That scene is direct from First Note of Love also.
I never saw that one.
Which is a Taiwanese BL, you know, and it's like the same scenario. So I'm kind of like, are we just taking stuff from a bunch of different things and slapping it together? Like,
No, I would have liked to see a different motivation. I think even working on cop shows, like one of the things that comes up all the time is you're like, how do you bond these two characters together? And the first thing out of people's mouths, 90% of the time, is like, well, we can set up a scenario where person A saves person B's life, like in a gunfight or whatever. And then that just bonds them, right? Okay, oh, you saved my life, and now I care about you, and now we can talk about our feelings together. And it's, yes, that is true. Yes, that is cheap. Yeah, it's a bit lazy. Have I done it myself? Sure. But it's not the greatest storytelling device that's ever been made, and I don't think we need to lean on it quite as much.
I feel like when we're talking about it, we sound like we really hate this drama, and it's not that at all. Like, I liked them. I liked the couple. I liked the pairing. I liked the acting. But as a story, it was weak. It was something that I felt like I watched 20 years ago, you know? And it's getting to a point where like a lot of K-dramas feel very stale. Although this has, you know, we've tried watching a bunch of other K-dramas, and this was one of the ones that we actually like were able to watch through.
Yeah, we finished it. I don't think this is an unenjoyable watch, to be super honest. I think we've said this quote a few times. It wasn't nutritious. It wasn't a thing you can really sink your teeth into and love, but it wasn't bad either. It's just, it was perfectly enjoyable to watch. There's just not that much to it.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, my rating is Onboard Karaoke.
Yeah, I really wanted to rate this in the buffet line, but I do think, like, this is not one you really go back for seconds. This is not, like, one you're, like, trying to fill up on. It is kind of like a good karaoke night, you know? Fun while it lasted. You don't really think about it again.
Yeah. Honestly, like, it's so hard because I enjoyed last week, you know, when we talked about Beside the Sky, and I have the same rating for this, right?
Right.
But for me, and probably, you know, like Idol Eye is a show that's done better, filmed better, but for me, I enjoyed Beside the Sky so much more.
Well, you say filmed better. I think the people that made this show think they're better filmmakers. But some of the editing and some of the camera choices, we didn't really talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
But holy, like, seasick Batman.
Oh my god, the scene where the ex-girlfriend and Raik were like sitting in that cafe, and it was like the last time Raik was like, hey, it's done. Move on.
And there's that weird beam between them that's supposed to symbolize the separation, but then also like makes your shot look stupid.
Yeah, and then the thing is, the way they cut it, the amounts of cuts for a very static conversation was so, I got seasick.
No, the pace of the conversation didn't match the pace of the editing. Like, it's supposed to be a drawn out emotional scene, and they're cutting it like it's an interrogation scene. And they're cutting it from like 17 angles. They must have shot that scene for 2 days for how many angles they have, how many cameras they have on this damn 2-person conversation.
Yeah. It was, for me, a mess. But even more so, like, so we are going into a lot of, like, editing where, you know, people are editing for social media, for music videos, things like that, where we're so used to these, like, very, like, if there's not a cut, like, after 2 seconds, people get bored, right? So then they have these, like, crazy cuts, or even, like, camera movements and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, you forget that, like, camera movements are supposed to convey a certain emotion. You don't really need to move the camera constantly if you're not trying to convey something. And it's the same with cutting, right? And the cuts just didn't go with the emotions that were in the scene, on the table, like, for the actors. Like, it was not necessary for them to cut it the way that they did. Unless they had a lot of unusable footage and they had to cut it the way that they did for that, but I really don't think that's the case.
No, I think they were trying for a stylistic thing that didn't work.
Yeah. And then like their slow, like, panning, or like down pans, and
like tilting through the table to like transition to a flashback that took like all day.
Yeah, or like the scene where, like, Sena's walking away from all the merch that she's thrown away, right? And you hold on to her walking away, but that down, like, the tilting of the camera was so long and drawn out, and we're like, oh my god, the scene should have ended a long time ago, and it should have, like, tilted down to the hat that she decided to throw away, right? That was the big reveal that everyone already knew. Well,
that's because the shot's so slow. You're like, where are they going? They've got to show us the hat.
The thing is, what they were waiting for was Sena to actually get to round the corner and actually walk out of the shot.
Well, stage it better.
It was so bad, and we're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So you say that the filmmaking is better here. I think good point on many things, because I think they tried very hard with angles and different things, and they were trying sophisticated filming techniques for a lot of it. Some of it worked. A lot of it really did not work, and it kind of exposed an amateurness to the filmmaking. Whereas I think when we were talking about the one we talked about last week, the Forever You, the filmmaking there isn't sophisticated. It's very simple, but they're not making those same mistakes. Do you feel bad about giving those two shows the same rating?
I kind of do, but I don't know, because I liked them both.
Yeah.
I did. I liked them both. Even though I do think it's pretty on par. I guess originally I was like, oh, well, you know, Beside the Sky seems a little bit more amateur than Idle Eye, but to be honest, it's just kind of
6 in one, half dozen in the other, as they say.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before, but sure.
Oh, yeah, that's a writer nerd term right there. It means, yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
More of the same.
Yeah. So.
Well, there you have it. A couple of onboard karaoke's. Which does it for this week on the DramaMeans Podcast. Make sure to stay tuned next week as we dive into another show, which we have no idea what we're going to talk about yet. But I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening.